Call Blair.
Call or text Blair, that's right.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Your first in-person water meeting?
Yes,
Utility board. We make sure we don't say waterboarding.
that's right.
Yeah.
John has a fit when we say that.
We're not there.
Does he? Yeah, the people in my office used to get, they didn't understand when I'd say I was going to the water board. And everybody tell them like training on how to do it, so.
I'm pretty
Might
sure,
be useful.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're live.
Are we live? Okay,
Yeah, it says live.
live, okay. All right, this is the regular meeting of the Utilities Board for November the 21st, 2024. Call a meeting to order at 4:30 PM. And first order of business is approval of minutes of the October 17th, 2024 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Barry to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this point, we're missing Mr. Cunneke for the meeting. May come in a little bit here. On the financial statements, take a quick review of those. Starting with the Water and Sewer Board tracking. Budgeted revenue is for the actual operating revenue for the water was $633,000. We are at $623,000. And total revenue is at $723,000, which includes interest expense and some grant revenue and disconnect fees and penalties. So the revenue is slightly ahead of budget for the period. Looking at expenses, everything is tracking slightly lower than budget except for the maintenance and repairs on the system. That is mainly the one of the large items is the well field work that we had done to the two wells, getting those cleaned and back in order and operating. And there was a couple of other larger expenditures in there that I had been to look for me, and I think I've misplaced them. But they were nothing other than just type general expenses and so forth. So all in all, the budgeted expenses are 589 and we're at 544 actual. So on the water and on the sewer side of revenue is it running ahead of budget. We budgeted $250,000 of operating revenue, and we're at $289,000. Total revenue is $322,400, which also includes interest earned and penalties and so forth. So revenue is holding very good there. And the actual operating expenses are also well below budget from 370 to 291. So we're we're maintaining there as well. The cash in the bank, which right now is at 10/31/24 is $1,943,000 versus a year ago was $1,353,000, and that does have some grant money in there. So, okay. So financially, right now, we're in good shape. We've got some expenditures coming up that we're gonna be looking at, and we've got some projects that we are also looking at. Message from Mr. Kunicki is he's running late, be there in a few minutes. So,
On the water, Dan, I know that last month our utilities was about 44,358,000. This month, is there a reason? Was that part of the well cleaning or
what was
anything?
that?
The utilities costs on the water?
On water or
Not
sewer?
water.
Water?
And so what was the question then?
Well, it's about $14,000 more this month, this report,
Oh.
that was the last report. Is
Bobby, do
there
you know
a
of
reason
anything
for that?
that's maybe caused it, or maybe that's just normal? I don't know.
Which numbers you looking at now?
I'm looking at the,
Utilities.
Oh, right here.
yeah, the power, utilities, power and gas. Because I think our power supplier's about to act another raise, so I'm asking you.
I mean,
If
only,
you look at last report, it was about 44,000.
I don't have that.
Hold on.
Okay.
So,
You looking at the water?
yeah, on the
sewer,
water,
that's
it
sewer
was,
right there. Hold on.
44,371.60. And this month it's 58,321.61.
Here we go.
I will look at that.
Okay.
I mean, I know they service generators and stuff, but I don't know.
But that wouldn't be in
No.
that account.
On total, it's still below budget of.
Yeah.
At 58 versus 60,
Mhm.
but we'll have to look at that and
I'll
report
look
back.
Just, I don't want to take,
No, but I'll look at that. I made a note.
That must be
pretty good
that's a
variance.
running total, apparently, because I'm looking back at one of July, it was 14,000, so that number must be.
Oh, it's a running total for the year?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well, then that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's current year to
Okay,
date.
all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going up that much per month. basically.
Okay.
So. All right, status on the computer sewer system upgrade. Do you have that contract, Dean, or did you have to sign, or is it?
I've got it to review and need to talk to Greg about it. About one thing that we need to.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're waiting on me, I believe.
Okay. Well, that was kind of the word I got, but I didn't. I did ask Carrie, and Carrie said that the water and sewer portion, they could implement that ahead of the city side of it,
Mhm.
which wouldn't necessarily speed it up a whole lot more, but they could at least get that, because the water and sewer is what's the problem is in the switching over from the old to the new. So, yeah. So, all right. Looking at the project status, Lone Valley Road water main. Talked to Chad today about that. We're still looking for those easements on two pieces of property. And found out this afternoon, or at least Chad did, that on the Smith property, Donna Smith, who there have been trouble getting a hold of her and her signing the easement. Apparently Jim Dossett, who was the water manager for North Marshall for a while and is now a water manager at
Great.
He was at John.
Jonathan Creek.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan for a while. Apparently she's his sister.
Oh,
So he is planning on talking to her and.
Greg was gonna get back with him,
Yep.
in October. And I don't know whether he did or not, given what's happened, but, he knows him, so.
So those two tracks, I think we got, Greg talked to him this morning, he thinks he's got workable plans on the both of them, without going into too much detail.
Right. And so maybe there's some movement there, but that's.
And again, some of the hearsay that you hear coming out of that is that you grant the right of way, then the city's gonna try to annex you. And people just have to realize that we run a utility system with lots of outside the city customers. This is normal blocking and tackling. It helps fire protection for everybody involved, and it should help property values, even though for things that you don't even foresee happening to your property anytime soon. Having a better utility system is nothing but good. I don't understand a lot of the confusion. And if anybody wants to pick up the phone and call the mayor, they certainly can. And we'll go to Cracker Barrel and talk about it maybe. So, but there's two tracks, and I think it's tracking pretty good to take care of the
Yeah.
concern.
On the Cypress Lakes meter easement, getting that in place, has a recommendation to install the meter pit in line with the existing main and to install the bypass line in the road on the Cypress Lakes east side of the existing main. According to him, the city should locate the existing main. You on
Yeah,
top of
we've
that, Bobby?
got it. Yeah, I mean, we've got it like marked as good as we can. I mean, digging it up is the only way we can really find it, but
Okay.
we pretty much know where it's at.
All right. And then said in here, he says the city can either contact area contractors for performing the installation, or we can.
Or we can do it. I was planning on doing it. I just need to make sure we're good to go. Because I got to order like the meter and everything else because we don't have the 4-inch meter that we're going to put in.
Right.
But if we're good to go with it, I can start doing something with it.
Yeah, I think we're good to go with that because we want to get that.
And from what I'm seeing too, I'm not sure that whole bypass is going to be in the road. From what we see, I mean, we're 8 foot off the road with the main.
Okay.
And from what I can see is, I don't think we'll have to disturb the road. But you won't know until you get in there and actually find it.
Yeah.
But if we're going to go that route,
Yeah, because there's the problem. This whole started because there's a problem of those lines running underneath those trailers,
mm-hmm.
and so and they agreed to take full responsibility,
Right.
so we can get that done.
So we'll
And
just
it
have
gets
one meter out there instead
gets
of
us
6 or whatever it is.
out of that liability and everything as well.
Right.
So,
Because if we have to go in there, we got to move trailers and storage buildings and everything else.
do work, dig
Mhm.
under, or whatever. Yeah. So, I think there's money allocated for that. I think, is there not, in the budget?
I don't know. I don't know how Tim
I'm
did
not
that.
sure. I can go get my budget book. But I'm thinking maybe we did also because we knew we had that coming.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know that I have that right here with me handy either. But I think to answer your question, Bobby, is
If we can start moving
when
on
you
it, I'll
can
do
get
it,
it in
yeah.
your schedule.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and
Just
load
move
it
on.
out.
Yeah. Okay, the influent lift station, let me skip over that one and come back to that a little bit later. The lagoons at the Halos, they've been bid. The bids came back. And I believe we put, it's, they were bid back at about 404,000 for one, 469,000 for the other bid. That's a lot more than we had in the budget to do those.
That one I know, we budgeted 150.
Right.
I did look that up.
Like 400,000.
Yeah.
Got the liner bid tab.
Yeah.
One option that's been thrown out is to not go with the Halos, but to pump those lagoons down, put in new liners all the way through the whole. We don't have any idea what that would cost, but that is a potential option. Which, based on the two
Yeah, 1 and
lagoons that
4
we
that we
did
did.
line, this is more than what they were.
Yeah, it was like 357,000 or something. I think
Yeah.
those.
When were those done?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago.
Uh,
Yeah, 21, I think. It's put in.
So who bid them?
Who bid these?
The last ones, the
Oh,
complete.
The complete ones, I think they were done by this
Was it by the
RTD
RTD?
Enterprise. Yeah, I believe it was.
And they're the lower ones of these too.
Right.
Yeah, we went with the Halo options because it was going to be a cheaper way to do it. I thought was one of the reasons we were looking at.
Thought it would be.
Yeah, but now it's not
Yeah.
looking that way.
But apparently I don't know if they're not wanting to work above the water levels and try to do that, or.
And I'm pretty
what
sure
they're-
if I read it right, they're wanting us to take care of like if they mess anything up or damage, or if they want us to dig them.
Clean Air and Water was that way, at least
Yeah.
in that way. And then also there was some discussion about us cutting the
The tree.
trench
Yeah,
for
that's what I was
the,
getting at. Yeah,
to put
put the liner down in.
louder down in it for holding it. Yeah.
Make sure I got this right. Is the initial putting in a liner was actually cheaper
Initially, it was.
than
No,
3 years
putting
ago?
putting the halos.
3
in.
years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yes.
A lot
3
has
years
happened
ago
in
it
3
was.
years.
But that's still a lot
Inflation.
of,
Yeah. 4 years.
that's a
ago.
big rise for,
But I think one of the problems with putting in the whole liner is you're gonna have to pump those lagoons down to
Get the
zero
sludge.
and then get the sludge out of them with the dredge before you can
Yeah, that's-
then put the liner back down in.
and it looks like a summertime better job than it
Yeah,
is right
yeah.
now.
And did we
But,
sell that dredge?
The,
We still have a dredge.
Yeah, we still got it.
the liner, the portion above the water level or the lagoon level is what's deteriorating and needs to be
Yeah, because everything under
Sure.
the water's fine.
right.
It's just
It's,
above water level. Yeah, it just eats it.
How do we know below's fine?
Well, we pumped them down and looked at it.
Had them inspected, or
Mhm.
did we do it, or did you have?
So we had somebody come and look to see if they could weld to it,
Okay.
and we had them pumped down.
You were able to.
They were able to weld to it.
I mean, you could put together some cost scenarios for the two alternatives. One, we could rebid the liners and see what they are now. And then to that option, you've got to add the extra work that we've got to do.
Mhm.
And not the least of which is having to deal with the waste sludge rolls.
Mhm.
But we need to be doing that periodically anyway.
Mhm.
I mean, this is option 2. Option 1 being a full liner has a different set of costs with it. We'd have to develop the whole scenario so we can really take a closer look at it. Or we find the money somehow to do this. I mean, it's needed. We're going to have to do something with halos, right?
You know, one option to do this with money wise is to take the ARPA money and use it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because there's a question on that as to whether or not we can carry it over past December 31st, right?
There's no question about that. That ARPA money has to be.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to. I mean, we've got plenty of expenses that qualify. This is one that exceeded the budget that looks like a good application for it. But that said, it still needs to be the best option. You don't just spend it because you got it. So I don't know what we can do there. We can kind of straw dog out the two scenarios, maybe ask them if they could turn around real quick. They got everything there is to know about our
Yeah.
lagoons as far as measurements and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So we could turn around a quick alternative A and alternative B. One of them silent or the halos only. That always tickles me when we call them the halos
Yeah, I know.
over the sludge ponds. Halos over the sludge ponds.
That's right.
They need halos.
Hallmark
They
movie.
love it too.
Oh my gosh.
But then you gotta think too, you know, just doing halos, you might get you what, 5 or 6 years out of them maybe?
Oh, I don't really know the technical specs on them.
Yeah, I know.
I have to have somebody.
Well, the halos are gonna be out in the sun,
Yeah,
same way the
exactly.
others were, so.
Well, here's an engineering question. Why couldn't you put a liner in one and take the old liner out and use it as a halo on the next one? Is there any possibility that you could do that?
I mean, I don't know.
It'd be free.
Have to weld.
They got a weld the halo on anyway.
I mean, what would
I mean, I
it
guess
take?
you'd have
That's
to
been
know.
the
I
problem.
don't know.
That'd cut it in half, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't remember the size of
I don't
those
either.
lagoons.
I don't know how much material you need really.
Well, the worst enemy of a good solution is the promise of a better one. There's no doubt. But kind of like we need to get on the phone with some folks, get
Yeah.
Chad to help us.
Mhm.
See, I mean, they can break this bid down a little bit further. But they don't really, they break it out by,
Well, they're
they break it
bidding,
out by projects, but they don't really break it out by labor component and material component.
well, they got lagoon improvements
Yeah, unit.
are about 160,000 for each. But then the anchor trench, which we were talking about, Bobby, was, they're saying is one of them bid 60,000, the other one bid 125,000.
And that's the difference in the two, really.
Right. They did mobilization,
Yeah,
10 and 7. I mean, that's normal. That's not. But that anchor trench, even at 60,000, seemed pretty expensive to me. But I don't know how much linear feet that is to open up. You can do it with a backhoe and or a trencher.
Yeah, you can get a trencher. Because me and Tim, I talked about that before we left. Getting a trencher just going all around it.
I don't think there's any piping or anything down
Well, you got some electrical stuff, yeah,
electrical. Yeah.
around the pedestals. So I know they come up straight towards number 4.
So you think we need to get Chad to maybe get us a bid on them for is a full liner as opposed to
Yeah, is that a halo in it?
comparison? Yeah.
Do we have to go through a bid process? It's gonna take time
I think we could,
gonna run out of time with the money?
we talked about this too. I think we could get a
quote. We could not give them a contract until we got a bid price, but we could get a cost estimate or a quote.
Do we have to spend that or we just have to obligate it?
We have to obligate it. But I'm gonna do another training on Monday and hopefully I'll know more. And obligating, it means, the way I understand it, that you need a contract in place.
Mhm.
That Chad called me today and was telling me something different, but I told him I wasn't gonna make, I've been watching a lot of webinars, I'm not making my decision. till
Did
I
that come
watch
through the
this.
I
pad?
think he said
Did that money come
Yeah,
through the
we come
pad
through.
or did that come from another agency?
The ARPA money came from
Let me see if you were on there.
the US Treasury.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So, yeah, they're sending me emails. You have not
That is
obligated your
one I'm
money.
looking at.
Yeah.
Like,
They want you to spend it.
it has to be obligated by December 31st.
Any agreed order worries about?
I thought putting it in budget, but that's not, it specifically
yeah.
says that's not good enough.
Dan, any concerns about the states calling us to do action on all these things that we're still trying?
The lagoons on the halos doesn't have anything to do with the
Good.
states at this point. We're-
Okay, great.
We're good there, other
I
than,
don't know why it'd be that high. over this
I wasn't sure that's one to ask or clarify.
no, the only one we really have a problem with is the
Oh, there you go.
That other's been in there longer, 3 years, but I'm not sure exactly how long. Is there anything with this halo material that is different that would drive that cost up that much?
It's just liner materials.
I mean, I'm just so, the other one lasted what, maybe
Yeah, it's
4
like a-
years, so
It's like an 80 mil.
what was the other one?
I think they did the same.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, other than just assuming it's UV attack. And we can ask if this repair is gonna be the same or not. But you got, the question, Barry, your idea about, utilizing the existing liner, if they're gonna weld the halo onto the liner, obviously they think they can weld to it. So why couldn't you, come up with that material? And another thing, is how much of a component is that material compared to the labor component and mobilization and everything. So that's part of it. And they should have that already prepared.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of interrogating them over how they put their bid together. Ask them a question, how much was labor, how much was material? What was the material, and get some mileage. Just go to the low bidder on the job and ask for details on the bid and see if we can put together an alternative. And we do put together an alternative, I suppose, for this kind of money, we have to go back out to bid again.
I wonder if there's somebody out there that has tried that, using a old liner as a halo on a another. I don't know.
I mean, they're working with us, Calvert City and Catawba, same.
Dredging doesn't damage the liner, then I'm assuming.
No, I mean, because you're just sucking the stuff off the bottom. It's not like you're, hitting-
Scraping.
Yeah.
It's not like that kind of dredge.
And we're only looking at 4 years and we do this again.
Well, I don't know. I mean, somebody told me that it might get you 5 or 6 years before you have to think you might want to budget doing the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we need to take any kind of action since
No,
we
I
got
don't
such a
think so.
short chain on the money itself?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so. I think we just need to have a plan of what we're gonna do next and move forward with that plan. And I think what Gene's proposed is alternative as quickly as we can. We'll get with Chad. It's not ready. We're not ready to spend the money, I don't think, or take action at this point, so. The next item, the high service pump replacement, looks like that's moving along, and estimate uh, ship date the middle of December.
Yeah. They said something like the 18th possibly.
On that. And according to Chad's thinking, there should be 80,000 remaining in the clean water grant. Linda, you said, has he said anything to you about that?
Yeah, he mentioned it to me.
Oh, to me, no.
Oh, yeah, he's thinking we
But
might have
I'm sure.
80,000. Yeah. And as long as we use it as, that's something at the plant, we should be able to use it.
Antenna.
Mini tower.
His new tower.
Yeah.
And
Need a
that-
good one, a big
No,
2-foot one.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The preliminary and engineering work on the Marshall Gaming is coming along. And what was that? I didn't print one. Where? Oh, that was. I lost the page one. Did you get that up, Gene?
For the
Yes, I
game.
did.
What's that Kentucky Dam
Yeah.
Village Sewer Connection? He gave some volumes on
Yeah, 34,000
potential volumes and
peaks near 140,000.
Which compares to what do we have currently here in Calvert.
I guess I didn't get printed.
What was the gallons on that, Bobby?
Hmm.
How much you said? it was?
38,000 gallons on a normal flow, I believe is what it was, and 140,000 on
What they
high
say on
flows,
peak.
Peak flows.
Per
Okay.
day.
Yeah, daily
Per
flow.
day.
Mhm.
So it's a daily influent now.
Well, that's what they're saying, I guess, from the city.
So they're saying their load, and they're gonna
They,
say,
see, this is what they are saying.
yeah, they're gonna see that. They're gonna send a formal report.
They're
So
gonna send their
Chad
phone.
did quote us up on some
Hmm.
telephone conversations, but that's not the final. So looks like a 34K and 140K, and I don't really have the figures in front of me to tell you what percent that is. But it's the first time I've seen those numbers given to us, so that's what we'll look into. This is the first feasibility of, the ability to, the feeling's been, and we're gonna be okay. This is the first time we've had numbers on that flow. So, planning the whole route from there to our wastewater treatment, and along the way, we got the Marshall Yards coming in. And, possibly further development up the intersection. So we need to make sure we're ready.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
flow coming through that busy intersection there.
On that overall project, there were a list of several things that manager Coburn had given them to do, and then they've been dutifully knocking that out. And it's a pretty big ticket. I mean, the state park doesn't need to be in the business of running a sewer plant, and we just have to make sure it's a fit before we accept it. There's a lot of details, and contracts with the state are not particularly easy to get. They take a lot of work. So we really get some attorney's hours on making sure they're all right. So hopefully most of that will be on the state employees.
But we're planning on a meter,
Oh yeah, that'll have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow
just in
meter.
case.
It's too complex not to.
Yeah, another lift station.
Well, and one of the conversations we've had going back long term is that there's going to be another pump built, probably, possibly, to
Oh yeah, pumping
Infrastructure,
station, the
yeah.
ownership of the capital project. So long-term contract, the capital project required, those would be the two things that to be negotiated and ultimately who pays for what, and who operates what at what expense, and how's that bill paid? I mean, that's the basis of the whole contract, right?
Right.
And to make it so that nobody takes advantage of one another, and you've got substantial contract language to protect all parties. So that's a pretty long journey, but again, reporting the flows was one of their deliverables the last time I met with them, and I'd have to go back. It's been several months.
It's been several months.
And they said it would be a while before they had the data. So
I think those numbers work. I can't remember what exactly our flow is. We've stated it in here before, but yeah, Bobby, you'll definitely have to look at it and look at how, what's the implications of that, you know?
Because one of the things that we were concerned about was that a higher flow of 140,000, that they need to make sure they're taking care of the I and I, and not just letting it run through the sewer
Right.
system. So, in heavy rains, so that's another subject for another day, but
If it was 34,000 a day, just averaged out was 1,400 gallons of an hour.
That's compared to Westlake.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We have the data that I know on.
I don't even know. I think we just take water in. I don't think we
Yeah.
give it back.
Yeah, is that right? No, sir.
it's a pretty healthy flow.
Yeah, it's pretty healthy. But it's not. It's 1,400 an hour. Yeah, that's.
To my standards.
23 gallons a minute, I guess.
I can see that.
I think we have the capacity for that, but we just need to. Because if you add the Marshall Canyon in there, that's another, I don't know what that's gonna be flow wise either, if it's gonna be coming into that same system down through there, which then goes and hits the gravity flow, so.
I'm just thinking about all the land and all the possibilities at intersection and tracks, and some of the owners of the tracks and potential projects, and how do you plan for all that? A lot.
It all burst loose here.
That's a good problem to have.
I know Tim talked about we had capacity in the system. We still have capacity. I guess that's on more on the water side. We talked a lot about that.
The concern they had was the pump station.
On the sewer side, capacity, you know.
If we own the pump station, they were concerned about the liability. And that pump station goes down.
Yeah.
Who's liable? And that was
Exactly.
the big issue. And back in the day, that was the issue, is who would be liable should that take place. And whether or not the city wanted to take on that liability risk. Now, Greg at that time said he thought he could ride us tight enough we could get out of it. But that was, if you'll remember those conversations with Silas, that was the big issue of who builds the pump station and who has the liability.
And maintains it and who, when it breaks down.
Yeah.
All those need to be in there for sure in that contract. And we need to, if you need us, what our thoughts on it, that's fine, but
Oh, those are exactly the kind of
Those are the
things
issues
that-
you're
That's
weighing.
exactly the sorts of issues that we
Okay.
should be doing. So, okay, think about this. If you're in park management, that's your asset. You're getting out of a water plant. You're getting out of the operational costs of the water plant. To replace the water plant, you got to have a systematic way to have somebody else treat your waste. So where does their responsibility start, and where does the ultimate utilities begin?
Exactly.
So you don't even, if you're the parks guy, you don't even, you know how to thermostat?
That's who's working on it. So that's why they text them not. I'm like, who's downstairs working? He said the fire alarm people.
Well, it
I
works.
was like, Okay, I hope that doesn't go off. Well,
But it did.
They're working here
Hey, it
after hours to make sure they're not
No.
interrupting anybody. He never looked and said there's no
I
heat,
know.
I guarantee
He
you.
said, what meeting's going on? I said, water and sewer.
So back, so there's an asset they're gonna have to, it's swapping one issue for another, but if we're the one servicing it, then you run into this situation, we don't, from their perspective, we might not care about the expenses, we may not take proper care for it and just keep billing. So that's a point. That's why contracts are written and why negotiations happen,
That's right.
right? So, are we gonna take care of it like our own, even though somebody else is paying the bill? So how we hammer that out and that contractor to review that contract, and not necessarily the final legal point, but the intent is something that is what we need to do. What has worked in the past, what has not worked in the past, and what's reasonable versus otherwise. So we'll just have to see how that works out. And I'm not familiar right off. I think that they're doing this process, or they're using this process at other locations. So they may have some example contracts where they're wanting to model one after. I don't know. Let's see what the state's got, and go from there.
Well, my other concern is the state. I follow the state budget and legislature enough to know that we are in a golden time.
Yeah, we are.
They've hit every budget the last 4 or 5 years, and that money's flowing. Things are good. All our emergency funds are filling up all their coffers. All those things are happening. But I've also been a part of an educator and seen how the state government works when there wasn't any money. And so my concern is always, we have a recession. Is our contract recession proof, or the bill, whatever their part is, are they going to follow through on that? So
Right.
just when you write the contract, think about those times. You've lived them, Gene,
Mhm.
where the state's hurting for money and they're begging and borrowing and stealing just to make, they got to meet their budget every year. So they've got to cut things and so on and so forth. And I've seen the state parks really suffer, their infrastructure suffer, because of those issues. So that's just a concern of mine, kind of a bigger picture issue.
Well, will they agree to have a meter and go by that? Because most of the time it's on how much water you take,
Right.
depending on
I
your
think I'm
sewer.
more worried about the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Just the day-to-day things. I hope that we can work
Well,
that
most
out.
people don't have that, they don't
Yeah.
have a system out there bringing in stuff.
Okay.
They do. And if they don't maintain that, then you have a lot of inflow. Would they say, well, we only want to pay for what we buy water. And there could be a big difference. And we don't want to be hanging on to that.
Those are definitely my concerns. Is
Yeah.
do they take care of INI? Do they, I'm just their track record.
Yeah.
Have been ideal for me.
I don't know what the technology of the meter is, but I understand there are wastewater meters readily available and some proven technology. I don't know which ones
Right.
they use.
Yeah.
But yes, there will be a meter.
It would almost have to be, because the water flow will be North
Oh,
Marshall
yeah.
water flow and not our water flow. And we will be getting the sewer from that standpoint. So we will have to do that.
No, it's this is not my laptop. It's the city's laptop.
Oh.
Which means I let the city control the settings on the machine. It drives me insane.
So anyway, that project is still going, still working. We'll work through it, and cautionary items that you're talking about are things that's got to be looked at as we progress on, but we are getting some information to work with anyway on that. We did sample the dirt and everything along LWD Cutoff Road, and we should be getting those reports sometime next week. And Rivercrest is going to be looking at some kind of a proposal for us and what we can do relative to beginning work on possibly putting in a water line down the LWD Cutoff Road to
supplement the plants and get a better flow through there and protect the line that's coming down 95, where now it's taking off a heavy flow. So the influent lift station is progressing very good. And I think we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow. Did we get that all set up, Gene, from 11:45 to 1 o'clock to discuss some of the, how we're gonna pay some of the bills and so forth? And
I think we do.
Yeah.
I think we got some conflicts, but I think we're gonna be able to get through it.
so, but that's an important item that we're it's getting real good. So, contractor that we have now is making a lot of headway.
Let's see.
One question I had that I didn't have an update on. Did we ever get any information on those, where we did the smoke testing and those letters we were gonna take to the customers, get them to make corrections to that,
I don't know about letters.
or how we were notifying the customers that they needed to make repairs and to that?
No, so what the point is, when the smoke testing was done, and Tim brought this up, and we were gonna get him some help. So when one of our customers has a intrusion on the property and our smoke test showed they had a problem, how were we gonna write a letter in such a way that we would have them repair it because it's their line? I talked to Chad briefly about that today. Common sense says it's not that big a deal, but in legality, this can be a very big deal. I think that we've, for those with some experience on the board, know that we've done some of those things before. And then you end up repairing other people's property, and that's a no. So where do the laterals begin and end on who's got the responsibility for them? And so what do we? This is another advisory, clearly an advisory board input, is how do we want our policies, ordinance, statutes, not statutes so much, but what do we do as far as a known problem with a sewer line, and if the property owner will not bring them up to standard, what is our service standard? And you can't cut them off of sewer service, but how do you compel that they repair them and make it good? Because we're being held accountable by the state on cutting that intrusion down. That was part of the agreed order, correct? So, and we're to continue to do our smoke testing. So how do we compel? And Bruce was going to help Tim, and I think in just getting Bobby up to speed, that's something that's kind of fallen between the cracks. We got to get those letters out. There is a line item list somewhere which I have not seen.
I've seen the list.
Have you?
And
Yeah.
we've actually,
Has
a lot
been
of
some
them
progress
clean out
made.
lid. Yeah.
Okay. There's
There's
been progress made.
but only on clean out lid sides. Like a lot of the clean outs were missing lids
Uh-huh.
or broken. We've repaired a bunch. I don't even say a bunch. But
That's the ones that the
some.
mowers took the top off
Yes.
of, and the
So
3/4
we've
ton
made-
diesel broke, and okay.
Stuff like that. The ones that we've seen of like we were working out on Sir Charles the other day, and I noticed one was busted and stuff when we were digging out that main. We went ahead and repaired that one too while we were
Now
there.
that's our clean out.
Hmm?
That's our clean.
Yeah, well, it's actually on them though.
Okay, but that's the clean out.
That's
that
the
we
ones
put
we're
in.
fixing.
Okay.
It's where it hits
It's the one it's the one next to
Between-
it's almost in the right of way.
in the right of way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a letter crafted to each one of these private owners saying, hey, this is an issue found on your property. And you got to be, you don't want to make a threat. That's not what it's about. It's about compelling them to take care of what's proper. And the wording of that in the state of our current statutes and stuff. So, and there may be.
Is there not something in there already for this issue?
I have to
Have
look
you
it up.
reviewed them all?
Mm.
I did. Really haven't seen them.
Well, I got a copy.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking
It's
about
a
eating,
request.
we're gonna
I
talk
have.
about eating elephant. You do it about at a time.
Mhm.
First thing you gotta do is you gotta find the elephant. I think I found the elephant.
Well, give him the trunk, give him the leg. I'll take the tail. It's the, if I can't say that. Okay. But yeah, start dishing some of that out. We'll look for it.
You know, when we come on, Roger gave us a thing.
We didn't.
We already heard.
We
We already
didn't-
had.
It's already had one.
We decided if we heard all the firefighters come down that we probably evacuate at that time.
Yeah, we didn't move, you know. We just-
Yeah, we didn't run.
We didn't follow protocol.
And it's
We didn't
being-
muster outside, did
It's
we?
being broadcast. What a poor example we are following fire
This
protocol.
is more important.
The rebel board.
Yeah, we're gonna- I know.
Roger gave us a
That's because I have been
Binder.
texting Mike.
Okay.
That's
a
what I
bunch of
sit up here
policies in
doing.
it.
Okay.
I found mine, gave it to Linda to look at.
Okay.
Maybe it helped. You should
So I
have
think,
one of those.
yeah, I haven't thrown away my.
We should be able to distribute them to everybody.
I may have them. I'll start digging through my.
Now, I've
see if I
got,
can
I've
find the
got some
elephant.
electronic files. The reason I haven't distributed because I don't know that it's a complete file or not.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we may just have to call it complete and start identifying and
Yeah,
add on as
exactly.
we find
Add
extras.
on.
Yeah, whoops.
Find out
here's
what
another
we
one.
need. Whoop,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And I just got to, I have to tell you that happens in the private sector too.
All right, on, Greg's not here, and so I doubt that he said anything to you about the Duke Energy. So
No.
we'll defer that for later to Greg of what progress he's made, if any. on that.
There it is.
That wasn't very bad.
Could be.
Well, we knew that was coming.
At least we were prepared. Next item on the agenda, procedures and policies. I think we're talking about that already. So those are still in the works and we're gathering up information and so forth there. So, Bobby, how are we doing on, new hires and so forth? I know you mentioned you had
Yeah, I've,
some interviews and.
yes, I've had 10. I've interviewed 10. And I've whittled them down to a few. I got about probably 4 or 5 that I want to call for a second interview. Just whenever you guys can, if y'all want to sit in or whatever.
Yeah.
But I got a couple. I got a couple good ones. So, at least I was pretty impressed.
So will that fill your,
That'll get us pretty good.
if we get those?
So it's one for each position?
Yeah.
You've come up with
I've got 2. Actually, I think I've got 2 on each position.
okay, so you got 4 candidates for 2 positions.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
That's good news.
Mhm.
And when you need them, you want to get it done.
Yeah. Motivation.
Yeah, it's going to help me out.
You got some that can handle equipment?
Yeah.
Good. That's a big issue for you.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Thankful for the new members here. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Congratulations.
And we're gonna, we're pulling up the appointment schedule to get you guys a tour of the water facilities. I say that tongue in cheek, but you have an open invitation for a tour that can be arranged.
Yeah, it's worth seeing. Gives you a little picture of all the things going on. Multi-million-dollar system.
I just hope I'm not supposed to know exactly what you are all talking about.
Well, an awareness level, water comes out of the ground in the well field, it's treated, goes to the users, comes back in a slightly degraded state and has to be properly
We send it today.
I'm gonna say that.
I'm excited to be here. And I'm new, so I got a lot to learn, but I work hard. And I have a lot of respect for this group. I know pretty much everybody in here. It's a really good group, yeah. Underappreciated. But, anything that I can help you with. And it helps having Gene in here is kind of a conduit, between here and the council, but anything that I can help with anybody, reach out to me. Don't know what I can do, but I'll do anything I can help with.
Well, you're always welcome to attend our meetings. We don't
I'll try to make it.
close the doors. I mean, it helps. But I did talk to a gentleman last night who apparently used to be on Reedland Water, and he indicated that when he was on the Reedland Water, he had to change out his faucets in his house about every I don't know how long it was, but it was very short intervals that he'd have to go in and clean them all out because of crud and stuff, and they'd stop up. And he said once he switched to Calvert water, he doesn't have to do that anymore. So he was very complimentary of our water supply. So he lives on Old Calvert Road. So
So somewhere in my mind's eye, there's that property that is at the corner of Benton Water, Reedland Water, and Calvert Water. And I don't know exactly where that is. Bobby probably knows where that is. It's that way. But, and again, a lot of people don't realize that, Calvert City runs the utility. And the extra volume through the front office, every day I'm in here, there's somebody paying a bill, turning on a service, challenging a charge, something. And it takes a lot of office bandwidth to deal with us on the utility side. And a lot of project work, a lot of capital, a lot of revolving loan funds. But we've got a great example, or pay attention. If you don't have great water in your city, you got a problem. And that's, we've got some local entities having some problems this year and last year, and we don't want to become that. So it's integral to being a community, a great
That's right.
community.
we don't want to be on Channel 6.
No.
But also for you council members, it's not cheap. When you start laying a piece of pipe or a repair, or just like we said on the halos,
If it's got the word water and sewer on it, it's gonna be pricey probably.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Mr. Cunnington, you got anything?
I'm good.
Michael?
Nothing.
Steve?
Just to clarify one thing, Bobby, those pumps that we've got order spec in, that's on our split system. right?
Yes,
Okay.
those hot service
And
pumps.
that's what we were gonna do with that
Mhm.
grant funding.
Yeah.
And so we'll get rid of that, and that will not be a headache. So-
Right, and I'm really, I'm ready to get them.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, it'll help out a lot.
I'm ready for you to get them. We don't,
Yeah, no.
Okay. Anything else, Steve?
no, that's it.
Okay.
No.
Barry? Bob, you got anything else?
Crisis du jour,
What's that?
the crisis of the day.
What about all
Oh,
of
yeah.
Have you told them about this?
Well, he just
We have
texted me a while ago, and he's talking to the MCA guy, Jason, and they're supposed to be. Hopefully, I'll know something here in a minute. Make sure we're connected.
You know what we're talking about?
Town, yeah.
Yeah,
Must have been.
yeah. The tower
Yeah,
blew down.
yeah.
Took all our communications out
Ooh,
to the water tower and the well fields. So we don't know
And a
what's
pickup
going
truck.
on. We have to actually physically go.
So
So
we've gone back in time.
yeah,
manual,
yeah.
Gone
analog.
back in time to Manuel.
But they're right there on the last little piece. We should hopefully have something going here in a minute.
But that's
Yeah, and it-
worth noting for backup.
And
Yeah.
it
Right.
landed on our truck.
Yeah, and it crushed my truck.
Yeah, but nobody was in it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank goodness.
I know,
Yeah.
he came in my office
How
this
bad
morning,
damage
said,
that
Glenda.
Oh, my word.
It's drivable.
Yeah.
But it
So I
didn't,
got your
Yours
truck's
has got the
climbing.
bad
I was
tail
like,
light, too.
oh, gosh.
but not that truck. The crane truck.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual maintenance truck. The one that got wrecked before.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
something all the time.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
I already have the claims filed. We're good. Insurance is on.
Have they got a tower put up for you now? What do they got
No.
how they do it?
They're running off a booster off the Wi-Fi to be able to send it to the plant because they can get into the. Rick's Electric's the only one that can do it,
Okay,
but they can go past the firewall to the actual plant system and read the stuff.
okay,
So that's how he's doing it. It's just a temporary fix for now.
gotcha.
But if they want, but we could go to that option if we wanted to, like a permanent.
Mhm.
They can get a bigger booster or whatever they have to get for it. But the plan is probably just put another tower up.
The first thing I asked Bob if he knew how to deal with not having the telemetry, he goes, yes.
That's-
It's like I made the call, but
He also said earlier that the tower wasn't needed to be 2 foot or.
yeah, they're for the tallness of it
Mhm.
because apparently I guess over time
Yeah.
things have been added.
Needs to be 2 foot longer,
No, it needs to be wider.
wider. Okay,
Yeah, see, it's only a foot wide.
that's why it
It's only-
came down. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a boat. You always need an extra 2 to 4 foot of a
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
But if it's like
Same
a 2
concept.
foot, I think they're going with a 2 foot base
Okay,
and go up. That's what you need.
so they're working up a proposal.
Yeah, I talked to Jason
All right,
and
good
he's
deal.
supposed to be getting his tower guys to see what we can do. So,
We'll be hardened for the next. Well, I'm not gonna say it. Ice storm. That's it.
yeah, don't say that.
All right. We got everything for you, Gene? You covered?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Have a motion?
Motion.
All right. Motion
on
for Barry to
just a second.
adjourn.
Second,
Second.
we've done it together.
The
Hang on just a
M&Ms.
second.
Them and them.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
So, Chief, are you working right now, or did you come up just for the fire alarm referee?
I'm just gonna have a jury trial.
Oh, I heard that was gonna happen.
All right, make a note.
When did it start?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is. I'll look at the numbers.
5.5 hours testimony.
We were out of
yesterday.
town, we're overseas, but it's been since we got back. It's like 15 or 15.
Yeah, you got any more?